Welcome to Leggari Products. Today we're going to show you a step-by-step tutorial on how to do an epoxy floor. We're excited to share with you floor kit number 8. A black base and orange gold highlights will change the look of any room. Check out the description below for more information.
I'm going to show you how to apply kit number 8. So this will be a black base with orange gold highlights. So for every 3-gallon kit we're going to mix up a 1.5 quart of highlight. So for each section that covers 135 square feet, we have a 3-gallon kit for the base coat and a 1.5 quart for the highlight in that area. We're going to be using the squeegee technique today because it's just very simple. So your primer's down, everything's taped off, so this is how to actually get the look of kit number 8 on the floor. And obviously I'm just going to be doing one section of a kit, but if you're doing a larger area than one kit, even 500, 600, 1,000 square feet, 2,000, you just continue this process. So if I was coating all the way down to say that blue floor way down there, I would do the base coat here, I would then do the base coat here and probably come back and do the highlights, and then I would get into a rhythm like that. And I would probably have somebody dedicated to each of those steps. Somebody laying out the base coat, and then one guy on cleats adding the highlight and creating the effect in it. And so one guy's only doing the base coat, and one guy's only doing highlights, and then I have a mixer. So to give you an idea, that's kind of how you want to simplify the process. Now, like we teach you in the videos, you want to have tape on the walls. So if this is a big open room, I have tape on each side of the room, and I kind of have this imaginary line I can look at. And so I don't want to pour my base coat beyond that tape. There's an imaginary line. So in the section you want to coat, here's how you would lay the base coat and do the highlights. I'm going to pour about 1 foot to 1.5 foot off the edge, all the way around the perimeter of the area I'm looking to coat. You want to use an 18-inch roller. I'm going to be using a 9-inch roller today because it's such a small area, but really you want to be doing an 18-inch roller. It's going to make really quick work of this base coat, especially when you're cross rolling. And we recommend the 3/8-inch nap roller. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spread out the base coat about 90 to 95% of the way using the squeegee. And the reason why is because if you just try to spread this out evenly with a roller, it's going to take you 4 or 5 times as long. It's kind of a waste of time. So you want to spread the majority of it out with the squeegee before you do the roller. And again, use an 18-inch roller. I'm using a 9-inch roller, but you're going to want to use an 18-inch roller. So the first thing I do is I apply a little bit of pressure, just enough to move the pile a little bit, but not so much that I'm removing all of the product on the floor. Like if I push hard and use it like a squeegee, obviously I'm not leaving anything behind. So what kind of helps is if you just apply a little bit of pressure and just lay it down at a very radical angle. And guys, 1 finger on the pole. I'm not applying a lot of pressure, and I'm just controlling how much product I get towards that edge by how I tilt the head of this. And don't worry about if it's perfect. I mean, I kind of make it look easy because we've done so much of it, but honestly, this is just to spread it out a majority of the way. You're still going to cross roll to help level out this floor. So I don't want you spending too much time in one area doing the base coat because the roller is going to do a lot of work as well. And guys, when you're walking on these spikes, you want to be very sure-footed. Try not to lean out too much so you can twist an ankle easily. Walk very flat-footed. you think you have a little too much, you can just keep pulling it. And now I'm just gonna fill in all these random areas, and I'm still keeping it pretty low. Notice my angle's pretty low. All right, now I think I have it spread out fairly well. I can't really see primer anywhere, and I've been over the entire floor. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this squeegee over here on my mixing station, and I'm gonna take my roller, and I'm just gonna roll both ways. Now again, with an 18-inch roller, it's gonna go very fast. And what this roller is going to do is it's going to pick up product from one side and deliver it to the other side until it's perfectly level each way. So first thing I wanna do is soak up the roller with epoxy. Try to find some of your thicker areas on the floor and just soak up the whole roller with epoxy. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in the middle, and I'm just gonna begin to roll back and forth, allowing the roller to do all the work. I'm not really going to push down on the roller. And when I get to the edge, I'm not just going to push all the excess epoxy to my wall or to the next part of the floor. I'm actually going to lift up the roller and then drag that back onto the floor. So you'll begin to notice those motions. Now, my first roll, I'm gonna be on the edges, just making sure that all my edges are coated. I'm gonna lift it up, and I'm gonna bring it back in. And I'm applying no pressure to the roller. I'm just allowing the roller to do all the work. You don't want to hear like a sticky sound. That was rolling on the tape. Again, I'm not applying any pressure, but notice how it begins to build up some of this epoxy if it's too thick in some places. Well, what it's doing is it's delivering that to some of these like thinner spots. And I'm just going to move my roller over about half a roller width, not applying any pressure, lift it up. So it's that simple. That's how you level out a floor. It's a little bit colder in this warehouse. I think it's about 62 to 65 degrees. You want to try to install the epoxy at around 70 degrees. Between 70 and 75 degrees, that's where it's going to be the easiest to work with. Now we have the floor pretty much leveled this direction. Now we want to level it this way, and this is even faster. And again, 18-inch roller, it's going to be even faster than this. So I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to go each direction, moving over a little bit each time I pass. Notice I'm lifting it up though. Before I hit the wall, I'm lifting up the roller so that I don't push the product all the way to the end. I'm actually catching that excess product while I'm heading back to the middle of the floor, because we want to keep that product towards the middle of the floor, not towards the walls and towards the other floors that we're working towards. See, pick it up, then come back in, I'm picking it up right at the edge, coming back in. This is the best way to level out a floor, to make sure that it's perfectly level in terms of the epoxy being distributed perfectly. All right, now that I've got the floor perfectly distributed, I'll leave this roller sitting on the floor. And now I'm going to add the highlights. Again, these are orange gold highlights. And we're going to use a lot because we actually love the black with orange gold together. It's a very popular look. And we're just going to distribute it in very large spots, like that. We're gonna come back and add more, but we want to just hit the whole floor. We want to hit the whole floor first, and then come back and add epoxy where we need it. I don't want to start on one side of the floor and then run out and then have to make more. So you want to use less the first pass. And notice I'm going all the way to the wall, because we want the floor, the design of the floor, to go all the way into the next section or all the way under the floor. Actually, we can take this, we're not using the roller, so we can actually take this roller off the floor completely. Obviously, if you're continuing to move on and do other parts of the floor, you'll just set it off this floor, lean it up against a wall for the next section. So now, I'm gonna grab my squeegee again, and I'm gonna start from one side of the floor, and I'm gonna work my way all the way over to where I'm exiting, or to the next part of the floor. If I was moving that way, I would do the floor lengthwise and move my way into the next section. But because I'm exiting over here onto the piece of wood where I can step with my spiked shoes, I'm gonna start over here and then work my way back. So what I'm really looking to do, and it's gonna look really sloppy at first, is just distribute this color where it looks a little more natural instead of splotchy. And so I'm not going to push hard, I'm just going to glide over the surface, and I'm gonna hit a little bit of the surface everywhere. And I'm gonna begin to spread that color out. And trust me, I'm just moving across the floor. It doesn't look like there's a rhyme or reason, because there really isn't. I'm just grabbing the piles of color and then just sweeping all the way across the floor quickly. And if you don't push hard, it'll skip a little bit. That squeegee will actually skip a little bit. You want that when you're doing this technique, because that means you're pushing about perfect. If it's not skipping a little bit, you maybe even run the risk of pushing too hard. Even if there's no color on the floor, even like this area that's black and there's no color, you still want to hit it, because I want our color and the design to go through here. If I do the design around this and I leave this open, that part of the floor runs the risk of looking different. So I'm still hitting the whole floor with that technique, even if I don't have a lot of color on my squeegee. If I feel like there's too much concentration of color, I can hit it and bring that color over here a little bit. And I'm trying to go random in all different directions as well. If you have any lines, like from the squeegee, you can try to get rid of those too if there's anything straight. I mean, a lot of these will dissipate, over the next, 3 or 4 hours, this whole design is going to change just a little bit. But you want to minimize some of those hard lines. And now over the next 2 or 3 hours, this floor is going to completely marbleize and do the rest of the work. So we'll show you what that looks like when it's done.